The opening of HBO's The Last of Us is very different than the start of the iconic game it's based on, but it's all the better for it. Here's why. The dust has finally settled on the heartbreaking and harrowing premiere episode of The Last of Us. It's only week 1 and already we've suffered a tragedy that has made a dent in our hero Joel. It's had to be done, of course. Sarah catching a stray bullet is as vital to Joel's story arc as Peter Parker losing Uncle Ben. But what made it special in this version of the story is how it all played out, not in the actual moments, but in the build-up to it. Sarah's death in the show is pretty much as it was in the original game. Beat for heart-pounding beats. It's as jaw-dropping now as it was back then. But the difference in the show is the route the story took getting there.
You get your homework done? Fractions?
What made the live-action moment all the more impactful was the different way viewers spent time with Sarah versus how gamers got to know her. And in this respect, the show may have even surpassed the game. When we first meet Sarah in Naughty Dog's original game, we end up in her shoes. After gifting Joel his birthday present, the game has us controlling her waking up to emergency news broadcasts and explosions in the distance before Joel storms in, kills a neighbor, and flees with Tommy onto the highway to the hell we see in the show. This all happens within the first 20 minutes of the game.
Hold on tight!
Okay.
Kicking things into gear without a moment's notice was a jarring creative choice that landed brilliantly in the game. In the show, however, it's almost the midpoint of the episode when the world starts to collapse, with more time spent watching the virus begin to bubble up here and there before things explode into chaos. It also does something for Sarah that the game didn't quite manage. The mechanic behind Sarah's story in the game that the show doesn't have, of course, is the you factor. As the player, it's essential for any gamer to make sure the character they're controlling doesn't die, which ultimately doesn't happen after you switch to playing as Joel carrying Sarah. Even in this short time we're around her, this adds to the drama and makes her demise leave its mark. For the show though, it's a smart move to let viewers better learn who Sarah really is. It's not just through bedroom wall posters or other environmental details. It's her drifting off at school or heading to see her elderly neighbor. A task kids are often reluctant about, but one that shows her good nature. When Sarah's death comes in the show, it hits differently. Knowing her as a more fleshed-out character, the environmental storytelling is excellent in the original game, but it doesn't compare to the quality time viewers get in the show with the character so important to Joel's arc. That said, we could see more of Sarah in flashbacks or in Joel's dreams, which would only further enhance her character, and by extension, the impact of Joel's story arc. Talk about a game changer.